The TSX is probably one of the strongest reasons why the world's largest mining convention takes place in Toronto. So can you tell us a little bit about why the TSX makes Canada such an appealing place for the world's mining corporations?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. I think it is important to, well, first, of course, it is obvious that Canada as a whole and as a jurisdiction, or maybe more precisely, the provincial jurisdictions of Canada have been for the past 2 to 3 decades a privileged platform for mining capitals to concentrate and to operate large-scale mining projects abroad. A good part of the project developed on the Canadian Stock Exchange are for Canada, but a good part of it is also for many regions abroad, specifically Latin America or Africa, and I think it's important to take that into account. Now, if it's true that we commonly hear about figures like something like 60% of mining companies are registered somehow in Canada. It is important to look, if you look at the Toronto Stock Exchange, to realize that even though almost 60% of the companies that are registered on stock exchange on a global scale are on the Toronto Stock Exchange, this company, which numbers around 1,600 companies, this company only represents 8% of the total mining capital. So I think, and this is an important thing maybe that was not enough developed in the book we wrote with my colleague Alain Deneau. I think one of the important issue is the fact that the Toronto Stock Exchange and Canadian Stock Exchange, more generally, are specialized in this area, which is the greenfield exploration, the so-called greenfield exploration. That is to say, the activity which consists of identifying new deposits, new mining deposits. That is to say, well, the geological availability of mineral in underground, but also somehow the political propensity of territories to convert into mining territories in the future. So mining companies that are registered in Canada, they are financing themselves through, equity financing. That is to say, they are they're just getting money from investors that are buying part of the capital of the companies. And the investors, they are expecting their investments to be profitable at some point. For junior companies, that is to say, these companies that are only dedicated or mainly dedicated to discover, in brackets, new deposits, the job consists really in exploring and doing some exploration, mining exploration work, but also to explore the upper ground, to explore if the communities are very well organized, if there are some infrastructures, if there's going to be some infrastructures around in the future, if the political regime of the country which they're investing in is going to be promising, so on and so forth. I think it's very important to realize that, because even though there are some major mining companies and big companies that are registered on the Canadian Stock Exchange, and that are big players in the mining industry, such as, for instance, Barrick Gold. Like the majority of the companies that are registered on the Toronto Stock Exchange are really these junior companies. And these junior companies, yeah, you know, as has been mentioned, have been accused of many types of abuse in terms of economic criminality, in terms of tax evasion, in terms of corruption, in terms of assassination of local leaders, in terms of massive pollution, destruction of ecosystems, in terms of complicity of assassination of local leaders, etc. And I think one of the main explanation of the fact that we have such a concentration of the number of junior companies in Toronto is the fact that with the Canadian jurisdictions as a whole, we have a sort of judicial and regulatory avenue. That was our main hypothesis in Imperial Canada Inc. And we suggested that by analogy with the tax havens. That is to say, countries where you have more companies than inhabitants sometimes. And in Ontario, for instance, you have more than 1,600 companies, and for a good part of them, they don't even have some assets in Canada. They have only assets abroad. So this means that there is some very particular advantage for this company to operate from this platform and to just getting some financing on this platform to operate abroad. Now, there are some very concrete characteristics that the Canadian jurisdictions offers to these companies. It's very easy to speculate on mining assets. They get some very strong incentives, and they get backed by the government in terms of financing, in terms of direct participation to capital, in terms of tax incentives. They get some institutional support. They get some diplomatic support when they are operating abroad. So there is a set of conditions that makes Canada and specifically the Toronto Stock Exchange a place that you need to be if you are a junior company specifically, if you want to invest and develop some project abroad. And I think there is a strong responsibility for Canada in how global mining industry is now trying to expand and gaining new frontiers. And gaining new frontiers, for instance, in the Amazon here in Ecuador, we have the example, means to dispossess peasants and indigenous people from their land. And this is a very violent process, which is associated to what Marx would call the original accumulation. It is a violent process that means destruction of nature, destruction of people, destruction of relation and specific relation of people to nature. And this violent process has to be backed and has to be made possible by some kind of legal regime and judicial and regulatory regime. And I think that is one of the main roles the Toronto Stock Exchange is playing right now on the global scale, providing like the right conditions that make possible the mining companies to operate abroad and to dispossess, to make all sorts of abuse without being, without having any preoccupation for their profits. So I think I will conclude with this final statement, and I'll be pleased to get some question in the following. Thank you.